What's up, guys? Monster coming at you with another Master Duel video. Now I know it's been a little minute. I was trying to, hop back on my fighting game shit for a little bit, so that I can get some, videos for my fighting game people out there that have fucked with me since I've been playing like fighters and shit. I will have a not Dragon Ball. I will have a Street Fighter video up for y'all in the next coming days. I'm not gonna say tomorrow, but it all depends. It might come out tomorrow, it might come out in 2 days after this video goes out. But basically, without rambling too much, as you can see, we are here playing the Buster Blader. Now don't pay attention to the deck name. I named it that randomly because I'm just like, fuck, I don't know what to call it, I'm just call it shush. And if you're looking at the cards, you're probably wondering like, what the fuck is this amalgamation of cards that I've thrown together? But surprisingly, I'm on a 6-game win streak, and for the people who don't believe me, even though, not saying that y'all be out here calling me a liar and shit, but for people who don't believe me, I'm on a 6-game win streak, and you can see it right here in fucking plat, going up to diamond again with this deck specifically. I've been using this deck, and if I haven't, maybe 1 or 2 of those wins were with an older version of this deck that was different. But like, I don't want to sit here and ramble for too long because I actually have a 4, maybe 5 replays showing off this deck. I may not include all of them. I may only show like 3, maybe 4, but if I'm feeling it and we go through the profile, or not profile, the replays fast enough, I might include all of them just because this deck was going crazy and I want to show off what it did. Alright, so we're here in the first replay, and as you can see, this hand is not that bad for going first. You got Souls, you got Maxi, you got Assault Synchron, you got Magna Hut, and then you have Where Art Thou. For those that don't know, Where Art Thou, this is basically just so you can get out another level 1. And Magician Souls is good because you can special summon this from the hand. Now, I will say, before I get into this replay too far, I didn't record any losses. But it's because, like I said, I was on a 6-game win streak and I hadn't lost, and I didn't feel like specifically going and trying to find a loss match. Because the reason I didn't is because this was supposed to be that game. I thought I was going to lose this game the way that this game went, and you're going to see how it went, and I still won it somehow. So obviously he goes Souls, or I go Souls, he goes Gamma, and I was like, damn, he went Gamma. I was like, okay, that kind of screws up his hand a little bit, because yeah, I threw Illusion of Chaos to grave, but Gamma's kind of annoying, and I'm going first anyway, so I can't kill anything. So I was like, okay, let me max C so I can get drawn to something. I drew into the Buster Blader. Normally, it's not a good card to draw into, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and bring out the Magna Hut. Magna Hut's gonna activate its effect. He uses Valor, and I was like, okay. So he negated me there. So we're gonna go Assault Synchron. Assault Synchron with that goes into the Accel Synchron. Accel Synchron brings back Assault Synchron to go into what normally, in normal circumstances, would have been Baron. Because Accel Synchron locks you into Synchros. And I went into Accel Synchron, or not Accel, Assault Synchron locks you into Synchros, so I went into Accel Synchron to bring back the Assault Synchron, and I was like, what do I want to do here? And I was like, I'm gonna go into Protector Whelp, because if you look at my graveyard, I have a bunch of dragons in grave, I have a Buster Blader in my hand, but I don't have any memories or no, it's memories. Prologue is the one that I want on the field, right? It is. Yeah, Prologue's the one I went on field, so I don't have any memories engraved. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go Protector Whelp, even though I probably shouldn't have, but I'm gonna go with my heart here. I'm gonna go Protector Whelp. He nibs me, which isn't a problem, because literally Protector Whelp doesn't need to do anything else. And once it's summoned and activates effect, it's already good. So I'm like, nib doesn't do anything here. I forgot we were still under Max C, so I drew twice off of Max C's effect, and I drew into Protector Whelp. Remember, I haven't normal summoned yet because I used Magician Souls, and I special summoned both of these cards, so I haven't normal summoned, and he nibbed me and it didn't cost me anything. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go off of the Protector Whelp. We're gonna go Protector Whelp. We're gonna drop the Dragon Buster, the extra deck lock. We're going to use the Protector Whelp's effect when it was summoned, when it was link summoned, to special summon a Buster Blader from hand, and then I normal summon Buster Whelp. Activate Buster Whelp, grab Prologue. For people who don't know what Temple of the King does, you can activate one trap card the turn it is set. So I activate Temple of the Kings and can play Prologue now. So that's just a really cool card that I saw somebody else playing, and I think it was a Labyrinth deck or it was another deck. no, it was Exo Sister deck, and I was like, damn, Temple of the Kings does that. I was like, maybe I should throw some Temple of the Kings in the Buster Blader deck, just in case you ever have it with Prologue, you can activate it on your turn and technically dodge Called by the Grave, because Called by won't work on their turn unless they have it set, or on your turn unless they have it set. So I was like, okay, I didn't have to activate Where Art Thou, but I did it now because I knew that I wasn't gonna keep a level 1 on field. But you, in my situation, if you were to play this, you don't have to activate that card. I did it just in case for the next turn I needed to put a body on board and I can send Temple of the Kings away. And I was like, that's why I did it, but you honestly don't need to do that. Because all that does is at the end of this turn, it's going to cost me 2,000 life points. So if my opponent would have been able to do anything, then it would have sucked. We go Buster Dragon off of the Buster Blader and the Buster Welt. I could have went into... oh no, I used the Axel Synchron. So yeah, that was the only thing I could go into now. So we're going to go Buster Dragon, bring back a Buster Blader. We're going to send both of those away to go into a Muckraker. Now, you're probably wondering, you brought out Buster Dragon and you synchroed it properly. Why are you going to go into the Muckraker? And I went into Muckraker because Muckraker protects me from battle. Or not battle, from destruction. So I was like, okay, I summoned the Buster Dragon properly, which is why I am activating Prologue of the Destruction Sword to send a Memories and a Buster Blader to the grave. I already have a Memories Engrave, I'm pretty sure. No, I didn't. Well, I had the Memories Engrave. I thought I had another one, but I forgot that it got banished already. So we're gonna go ahead and bring out Buster Blader, and because I synchro summoned the Buster Dragon properly off of Prologue of the Destruction Sword, I can bring it back. And the other reason that I throw Muckraker in normally all my Buster Blader decks is that normally at the end of 2 turns, Prologue will destroy your it will destroy your Buster Dragon. Prologue, if Prologue props your Buster Dragon, that activates Muckraker's protection, and you can send Muckraker to keep Buster Dragon permanently. Now I don't know if that applies still because I summoned Buster Dragon properly, but I'm like, worst case, I still have protection, so it can't be destroyed. And my opponent, he's playing Super Heavy Samurai. I equipped on my Buster Blader the Buster Lock, so even if he could bring out a bunch of monsters to use from his extra deck, none of them have their effects, and he can't even go into his extra deck now. So he just summons all that and then surrenders. Keep in mind, we got Nibiru on my own turn, and all we had in our hand was Souls. What was it? We had Souls, we had Assault Synchron, Abyss Steel, Machna Hunt that got negated. Like, we played through a bunch of interruption there and he still couldn't have stopped us. So that's what I was talking about, like this deck was kind of going crazy, because like I said, I thought I literally only went into this game not intentionally trying to lose, but just being like, all right, I need to get a game where I lose so that I can show the people that like the deck isn't broken and the best deck in the game. I'm not claiming that at all, but you know, normally showing a loss, it better helps it, because then you can see what goes wrong with the deck. But as you saw in that replay right there, we played through multiple interruptions and we still got into it, and some of the weird unorthodox plays that I went into ended up working out because of the way that I did it. So that was just one replay right there I really wanted to show off because that was dope. But let's go ahead and get into another one. All right, we're back, replay number 2, and we're going against Hyr, Hyr. I don't know how you pronounce that. Just like saying it normally is how I pronounce it. We got Souls Wallaby, which for the people who don't know what Wallaby does, Wallaby during the end phase, you can send this card from your hand or field to graveyard. Excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of your opponent's unused spell and trap card zones, and you can set 1 excavated trap from your deck. This good is actually very good in trap decks, because if you're playing a deck with a bunch of traps, Wallaby, at the end of your turn, you don't even have to summon this. At the end of your turn, you can send this to grave. If your opponent has 5 empty spell and trap zones, you can look at 5 cards on top of your deck. It depends on how many cards they have empty. So going first, you can go ahead and go crazy because they're not going to have anything in their spell and traps. And this is at the end of your turn. So it can dodge some things, but like obviously if they have like Ash Blossom, or well, no, it sets directly from deck, so it's not even being able to Ash, because you can't add it to hand. I guess maybe Call by, but again, if it's your turn, then they can't Call by you, so it dodges a good bit of hand traps with that type of effect. So we went ahead and we went into the Magician Soul send tactics. He activated Duel and Lockbird. I'm like, all right, that's a little sucky, but all right, that's not the worst thing in the world because we already had Prologue in our hand, so we're gonna go ahead and bring out Magna Hut. I didn't want to do it at first because obviously, you know, typically you want to add from deck to hand off of Magna Hut's effect, but I was like, it's fine. We'll go Protector Whelp. Protector Whelp will drop us the Buster, Dragon Buster, and we'll end our turn. So off of Magna Hut, since we had a Dragon Engrave, we add it to our hand that way. Now Wallaby, what that's gonna do is excavate top 5 if we grab a trap to go ahead and set it on the field, and we grabbed sword memories, destruction sword memories, which is really good because the whole thing that this does is drop a card from your hand that's a destruction sword card and to bring out a Buster Blader. And because I put this back in my hand off of not Wallaby, off of Magna Hut, I'm able to discard this now, put a memories and a Buster Dragon engrave, and I have Prologue on field. Now, don't always do that because I got very lucky with Wallaby, or not Wallaby, Wannabe. I got very lucky with Wannabe that I hit memories, and you can't always consistently top deck of memories like that, or not top deck of memories, but hit memories off the top 5 of your deck. But in this situation, I got lucky and it worked out. So he goes and brings out the Punk Wagon. I'm gonna go ahead and go into the whole Buster Blader combo. And I said to myself, because I dropped 2 memories, I was like, I'm not even worried about call by, because with the second memories engrave, unless he had another called by the grave, I could dance around it. But I had cross out, so I'm like, I'll just cross it out. I don't even have to use my second memories. Cross out the called by, go in the Buster Blader, put Buster Dragon on field. Buster Dragon will grab us the extra deadlock card, and we're good. And all these games I'm showing were in that 5-game win streak. So these are back-to-back games I'm playing. These aren't like me cherry picking and picking this replay and this replay. I was just winning right now. So we're gonna go into the next replay. All right, back in replay number 3, and 2 Buster Whelps, Ash Blossom, which we just used, Illusion of Chaos, and Prologue. Now, I used the Ash Blossom on the Rescue Ace just because I did not want him adding a Rescue Ace trap. But then he set one backwards. So I said, okay, it's probably one of his traps, which can either be Reinforce, Extinguish, or Contain. So I was like, okay, we know he has a Rescue Ace trap already. We drew Temple of the Kings, which was a really good card. So we go Illusion of Chaos, shuffle one of our Buster Whelps back, use Magician Souls, bring that out, set Prologue, go Temple of the Kings, go Whelp. What I was gonna do here was I was gonna go Whelp into the memories. Memories would get sent to grave off Magician Souls, and I could use Souls and Temple of the King. I could use memories and Temple of the Kings off of Magician Souls, send the grave effect, and then draw 2, which maybe could have got us into a Bastille and another Assault Synchron. But he negated he negated Whelp, so I was like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and use these 2. I could have went into the Ghost Trick line that I have in here. I'll explain that in a different replay, but I could have went Ghost Trick, but I was like, you know, let's go protect the Whelp. So we're going to go ahead, and since he is going to be special summoning a Rescue Ace card, and because I put Temple of the Kings on the field, I was like, fuck it, we're gonna go Buster Blader now, unless he has called by to stop me. And of course, the fucking face down was called by, and the only reason I had a sneaking suspicion it was called by was because after I activated Prologue, you know how when your opponent's when your thing freezes for a split second, but it doesn't go on your opponent's side and show that it went red. It just like freezes for a split second, and you know your opponent turned their toggle off or just turned it on. I was like, okay, yeah, he definitely got something. So annoyingly, he banished my Buster Blader and screwed up my plays there. So I was like, okay, go name your unicorn. We're going to be shuffling his Turbulence. Yeah, his Turbulence. We're going to shuffle Turbulence back into his deck, and then we're going to swing over the Rescue Ace Monitor. Not an ideal situation at all, but at least in grave we have everything for Buster Blader except for a Buster Blader. Unironically, we have dragons, we have a memories in grave. We just need Buster Blader. Do we even? No, we don't have the extra deadlock card. So we're just honestly just waiting. He passed his turn. I grabbed the Word for Art Thou, can't do anything, so we're just gonna swing with Namor Unicorn. Another turn, he sets a back row and passes, and then he set a face down monster. I'm like, okay, we just drew souls, which is very good. We're gonna special souls out again. Wherefore art thou? He negated wherefore art thou. I'm like, ah, that sucked, because I could have got to another Buster Blader, or not Buster Blader, another Buster Whelp into another Memories or whatever. In Temple of the Kings, if I could activate it, I could go ahead and put that in grave. So unironically, we activated souls to drop Temple of the Kings because it's not doing anything, because the whole line that I was gonna go for it got messed up. We draw into the Buster Blader. I tribute Unicorn and souls for Buster Blader to swing over whatever he has, because I'm like, either I can swing into it with Unicorn, keep this Buster Blader in my hand, which isn't gonna do me any good because I've already used Protector Whelp, or I can just tribute, bring this out. I'm like, fuck it, I'm a tribute to bring this out. You shouldn't have anything strong enough to beat over me. He said 2 back row. I'm gonna keep swinging. We're just gonna take this slow and keep swinging. So he goes, summons another, he summons an impulse this time, but because the impulse is too weak, he can't do anything. And he doesn't have a, he says during your main phase, you could choose one effect monster your opponent controls with the highest attack, your choice, and neither player can activate that monster's effect on the field, but Buster Blader's effect doesn't activate until I destroy a card by battle, so he can't really negate my effect. I go into another Whelp. He now negates the Whelp. I go max C because he's gonna special summon something out. Why did I draw 1? Or why did I draw 2? Oh, because he didn't use the during the main phase negate effect. He used the one I activate an effect to special summon a card out. So I drew 2 off of max C, or no, I drew Assault Synchron off of max C. I added Buster Dragon off of or Dragon Buster off of Buster Whelp. He draws 2, discards 1, drop the cross out. I bring out the Dragon Buster, and then I use Assault Synchron to go ahead, and what I was gonna do was I was gonna go Assault Synchron and Buster Dragon, or I was gonna go Buster Whelp, Buster Dragon. I was gonna go Buster Whelp, Buster Blader, Buster Dragon, then use that to go Baron, but what he did was he used Extinguish to get rid of my Buster Blader, but I tribute Buster Whelp to bring back Buster Blader, put him back on the field, go into Excel Synchron. I'm gonna bring back one of my tuners, either gonna be Buster Whelp or it was gonna be something else. I had another option in there. I had another option. Oh yeah, it was either Buster Whelp or Buster Dragon. I could have brought either one back. He negates me off of Contain, which doesn't affect me because guess what? I'm going Baron. Baron, pop his card, 3000 attack, 2800 life points. Kill him. This was just another way where I was playing around what my opponent did, because I didn't know that he was gonna pop my Buster Blader. I knew that there was a chance that he had some of his fire, what they call his fire cards, his spells and traps. But I mean, it didn't matter because I just played through it and just somehow got Baron and still won. So I mean, like, hey, look, sometimes you're just better. Let's go ahead and get into the next group. Alright, so this time we're going second, and we're playing against a 60 card deck. So I'm like, okay, he has the Branded Slaves. There's the potential is Branded. Springs Kit Kat, Branded Fusion. Okay, yeah, we're playing Branded. Branded Fusion, I negated off the Ass Blossom, because if you have an idea that they're playing Branded, especially after playing Kit Kat or Springs Cat, I'm like, yeah, you just wait for that Branded Fusion. He goes Fusion Deployment, goes ahead and brings out Fawn of Albaz and Blazing Cartesia, goes into Albion, the Branded Dragon. Go ahead and uses Albion to go into the belly on the Searing Dragon, drops the Max C, and goes into Mirror Jade. So he has Mirror Jade, Banish, and nothing really else that he can do because we stopped his Branded Fusion. Having Assault Synchron, a wannabe, and that I'm going to be activating right now. Wannabe, top, look at top 5. And unironically, in both the times I've used this, I've hit Memories, which isn't a bad target, but it's not ideal. But okay, we're gonna go into Memories off of Wannabe. We top deck the Buster Whelp, which is very good. I was torn if I wanted to use Memories, but I was like, no, using Buster Whelp on field's better. If he banishes me, it doesn't do anything, doesn't hurt me. Only thing it does is stops me from having a dragon engrave, but it's not the end of the world. He didn't use it, which was his mistake, because now I set prologue on field, put a dragon engrave, and went striker dragon, and I think he was scared because he didn't know how I was playing at this point. And I think he thought when I brought out striker dragon, I think he thought I was playing rockets, so he banishes striker dragon, because if that wasn't the case, he literally had no reason to activate Mirror Jade there. He should have activated it before, just to make sure I didn't have a dragon engrave, but he activated it when he did, and that's what it is. We use triple tactics to draw 2, and we just draw like literally the perfect 2 cards ever. We draw Wannabe and we draw Baldric, and we already had Assault Synchron in hand. So go Baldric. He has nothing he can do now since he used the banish. Go into these 2, level 8. Bring back Assault Synchron. Baron pop. He activates the effect engrave. We called by it, so we don't even gotta worry about it. And during the end phase, this is where Wannabe had the hidden synergy that I didn't even know about when I put it in here. Wannabe, the card says that it says during the end phase you can send this card from your hand to field to grave, excavate top 5, and then obviously set a trap if you excavate a trap from them top 5. And it says during the next end phase, also place the rest of them at the bottom. That's not the part I was looking for. It says you can set one excavated trap to your field, but send it to grave during the next end phase. So since I activated Wannabe turn 1, end of turn 2 comes around, Wannabe sends my memories to grave, which is exactly where you want it to be. So I unintentionally put that in there at the perfect time. I have a bunch of dragons in grave, and I have prologue on the field. And I was like, damn, wait a minute. This is kind of perfect. Off of this Wannabe, we didn't hit anything. We can just shuffle our deck into a particular order that we want, but they get shuffled to the bottom anyway, so I don't care. He goes Blazing Cartesia engrave. I'm like, no, you're not doing that. And I mean, we got prologue. I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle this out since I'm using the gate to go back into Excel Synchron. He goes into Maxi. I'm gonna go Buster Blader before your Maxi activates. Buster Blader. The Bellion can't do anything because it's a dragon normally. I just have a bunch of cards. He only got 1 draw, and I'm like, all right, put the extra deadlock on him just in case that was Super Poly. Just in case, because I didn't want him to have Super Poly in his hand, and then he gets another card, and now he can go into his extra deck using my shit. Even though if it was Super Poly, he couldn't use it, because then he would have had to discard his own card, which wouldn't let him activate it. But I'm like, all right, fuck it, we chilling. I go put everything in attack, work for Art Thou, put this on field, and he surrendered. Because he knew I was about to just go into some crazy shit at that point, and he was just like, yeah, I don't got none. Because Buster Blade was going to swing into his dragon no matter what. Again, another game where we played through some shit, especially there, going against a branded player. Granted, I stopped him but he still had fusion appointment and still had plays. He still went into Mirror Jade, and I still outed Mirror Jade, and still was able to set up Buster Blader with the Mirror Jade on the field until I got rid of him, obviously. So let's go ahead and go into that last replay. I think we have one more. All right, so we're here for the final replay, and unironically, this is the worst hand we've had of all the replays so far. But luckily, we're going second, because if we were going first, this hand wouldn't have been that great. So we're going second. He activates Pot of Duality. And off his 3 cards, he revealed Fluendere's Eaglin. So I was like, okay, Maxis aren't going to do anything because the whole Flu deck is a normal summon. So I'm like, that sucks. He doesn't go for anything. So he had a very bad hand. He sets 1 deck face down. And I said, okay, we're going to activate Lubellion to bait out an Ash or anything that he has. Because if he had Call by it or whatever, I'm like, I'm going to use Lubellion to bait that out. We're going to negate the Ash Blossom off of that, just so I can grab one of my Bisteels and put it in my hand. He then goes and activates the Max C, so I know I'm not going to summon the Bisteel this turn. I'm just going to put it in my hand and chill on it. We're going to normal summon Souls, drop our Slingshot. He has the Imperm, and I'm like, alright, this is not great. But I'm like, you're playing Flu. I know that for a fact. So I just gotta hope he doesn't have anything, and he didn't. Especially, he has Eagle in the hand, but I don't know what one of his other cards are. But clearly, it wasn't good enough for him on his first turn that he had to do anything. So I'm just gonna hope that he couldn't. Now we go top deck War for Art Thou. Very good card that gets us in the Buster Blader, gets us Buster Whoop, which gets us Prologue. Now we're going to go Ghost Trick into the Ghost Trick Angel of Mischief. Discard a card, which is going to be our dragon that we need engraved. Grab the Ghost Trick Shot. Now we're going to bring out the Magna Hut. Magna Hut banishes the Bellion, because we don't play any of the we don't play Regained and we don't play Beast in this, just because if you top deck it, it sucks. It's great if you don't, but if you top deck it, it sucks. And we're playing a very limited Bestial package that you'll see in the deck profile, so that's the reason why we banished Lebellion instead of banishing our other dragon, because we want that dragon engraved. So we're going to add a dragon to our hand at the end of the turn. Then we're going to swing for battle. He even leaves me. I'm obviously going to keep the Prologue of Destruction Sword. He banishes one of my dragons, and he banished the Angel of Mischief. But what he didn't know is that because I had Dullin, I think that's how you pronounce it, Dullin, as material, that will now get sent to grave. Dullin, when it's sent to grave, will target a Ghost Trick card in your graveyard, add it to hand. It allows me to use the Ghost Trick Shot to bring Dullin back, go into another Angel of Mischief, allows me to equip Angel of Mischief with my shot in hand, and because I attacked with Mischief, I can go Zeus. So we have Druce Worm, Zeus, and Prologue at my disposal whenever I need it. So immediately with Prologue, all of his Flu stuff doesn't matter anymore. You can't activate any of their effects. And I may not have the extra deck lock in there, but against Flu, they don't really touch the extra deck like that. So I'm like, alright, unless that card in his hand's called by, I'm not worried about called by. So we're gonna go the Buster Blader route. Put Buster Blader on field with Zeus. And we just, at any point, I can swing into that with Buster Blader and do the damage. Zeus will finish him off. And he couldn't do anything. He just, connection time died, he closed the fucking game. But just like, even with that terrible hand where I had 2 maxis that were never used, I still played through Interruption, still got out Zeus for the first time. Didn't even need to use them. Granted, this wasn't the best scenario to be going against because my opponent didn't do anything. But even if he did, he would have had to set up all his Flu stuff on his first turn, and he clearly couldn't. So I'm like, again, this isn't to say that the deck is just unbeatable. I won 6 times back to back this deck because I, in some situations, got lucky, and in some situations, played through the interruptions just right. But just go to the deck. Let's just go to the deck profile now, so I can show you why I put things in here the way I did, and so you can try to understand the method to my madness. Okay. Deck profile time. So we're not going to spend too long on the Buster Blader stuff. I'm going to explain why I'm playing certain cards at certain numbers, and I'm going to also explain why I'm playing it like this, because this was the other version that somebody in Converge's Discord had put together. I took 2 cards out of this. I think the 2 cards I took out were Emperor. This was the original version I was playing. This is why I'm using the Ghost Trick stuff in here, because he was playing this version of the deck, and it's decent, but I just felt like it was lacking in some areas. Because I also, for people who know how to use this engine, the Utopic Draco stuff with Ghost Tricks, let me know how you actually use that, because that was the one thing I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out how you go into the Utopic Draco stuff with the Buster Blader stuff. I ended up going Ghost Trick stuff, and then going into Buster Blader, and that was it. I never used these 2 cards. So if you understand how to use this deck properly, tell me in the comments down below, because I would appreciate it, because I don't know how to use that Utopic stuff. But back to the deck that actually we showed off in the replays. With the Buster Blader stuff, obviously 3 Buster Whoops so you can get access to Prologue. The Dragon Buster so you can lock your opponent out of their extra deck. 3 Magician Souls to go with your 3 Illusion of Chaoses. 2 maxis. I don't know why I said maxis like that. 2 maxis. I threw in 2 Assault Synchrons in here just so that I had more material to go into some of my extra deck stuff. Because I'm like, okay, let's say we have a let's say we have a what's it called, we have a Bastille in our hand. A Bastille by itself in this deck doesn't do anything. I'm like, let's throw an Assault Synchron in here, so one, that gets us easy access to a level 8 if we can get a Bastille in. If we get Bastille on board and have the Assault Synchron in hand, that's a free level 8 right there. And I mean, like, let's just say worst case I go into that, that's a Dragon Engrave, and that's either a Excel Synchron that I can go into to go into a level 10, or that's a free Buster Dragon that I can go into without using any of my actual Buster Blader stuff. So I was like, just throwing the Assault Synchron to go in with the Bastilles, and it worked together a lot of the times you saw in this replay. Sometimes I was drawing into them together, and it was like, hey yo, it's just fucking free at this point. We explained Wannabe in the deck, in the replay. Basically, keep this in your hand, or put it on the field, either one. If it's on the field, it'll send itself to grave. If it's in your hand, it sends itself to grave. Look at the top 5 of your deck. We don't play too many traps, but if we top deck into either one of these traps, it's not bad. Because as you saw, if we top deck into memories on field, keep it on field for 2 turns, it sends itself to grave without you having to do any of your Buster Blader, sacrificing a Buster Blader in your deck, which kind of screws your prologue play. If you're trying to go for more than one prologue activation for that duel. Or you can obviously go prologue, and then if you get access to prologue, that's just fucking great, because if you can put a Dragon Engrave and then go in the prologue, that's the whole Buster Blader thing right there. 2 Ash Blossoms, 3 Bastilles. Now originally I was only playing these 2, but I went to the 3rd one just because I was like, in any scenario where you go Magna Hut and you want to go Baldric and put Baldric on the field, Drew Swarm is normally the better option, but Baldric can stop any extra deck summons and stuff, which is very good. And there was a duel that I don't think I showed in this video, but there was a duel where I did go against a person who was playing, what was it? I think he was playing some of the like Chaos cards, and I think he went Chaos Angel on me, and I used Baldric to get rid of his Chaos Angel. Or no. Yeah, I did use that, but his Chaos Angel was used with a Light Tuner, so I couldn't use it. But it was just a way of getting my Magna Hunt off the field, because I'm pretty sure that's what he was banishing. But it was just another option that if your opponent does go into something, this also gets you another Dragon Engrave for Buster Blader. Because like, let's say you bring out both these cards, and then your opponent goes into something from their extra deck. Unless you, or let's say you go into Drew Swarm and Magna Hut. Unless they pop your Drew Swarm, then you don't have a Dragon Engrave or your Magna Hut. This card, if they go into something from the extra deck, it allows you the ability to send something from your field to grave, which then can help you activate prologue. 2 Buster Bladers. I am a notorious, I play 3 of this shit just because if you can't synchro summon Buster Dragon properly, then you need to be able to activate memories potentially more than once per turn. Because if you can't go into Buster Dragon with the proper synchro summon, then it's like, I need to activate prologue. And if you go prologue and draw one of your, if you top deck one of your Buster Bladers, which was happening to me a lot with the other deck, if you top deck Buster Blader, then it immediately makes it so that unless you have Illusion of Chaos, you're not going to be able to go into another prologue, because Buster Blader will be in your hand. So Illusion of Chaos is good for putting this back in your deck, and also just synchro summoning Buster Dragon properly is another reason you can run this at 2. You don't want to see this card too much, but at the same time, I would, if you want to run it at 3, I'm not going to be mad at you, because I like to have 3 of these. It only sucks then if you top deck 2 of them, which at that point I feel like the game just hates you and you suck. But anyway, I put 2 Libellions in here. 1 because it discards itself, puts another Dragon Engrave, because my biggest problem with the deck before I added Baldric and Libellion, the Bastille Libellion, was because you just weren't getting access to Dragons Engrave enough, and that's the whole problem with Buster Blader. It suffers from. So this literally is if it's in your hand, you can put a Bastille in your hand and you drop this to grave as material for your prologue. So literally these 2 cards were put in here just for their ability to put more Dragons Engrave consistently. Obviously, like I said, Illusion of Chaos gets us into the Magician Souls. Magician Souls, if we have to to spells or traps. Either memories is normally the best trap you want to drop, or any one of these other spell cards that you don't really use like that. You can drop 2 of those, draw 2, or draw 1, depending on if you want to just drop 1 card. So that's why we're playing the Illusion of Chaos, to get us into Magician Souls. Where art thou? Now, this card is actually very good if you open up with souls in your hand. Because if you open up with souls and special summon this out, when you activate Where Art Thou, you can, but you have to control level 1. It allows you to add a monster from deck to hand. And if you don't normal summon that monster this turn, you take 2,000 damage. Now, the 2,000 damage thing, you ain't really tripping over too much, but normally the reason you want to activate souls first and put souls by special summoning on field is because then you can use Where Art Thou. Where Art Thou grabs you Buster Whoop. Buster Whoop puts itself on the field by normal summon. It puts itself in your hand, then you normal summon it so you don't take the 2,000 damage. Then you get either the ability to go into Protector Whoop, or you can go into the Ghost Trick with the 2 level 1s. And that just gives you better options. You can obviously go Buster Whoop or Art Thou into Magician Souls, but because you didn't normal summon Magician Souls, because you used your normal summon on Buster Whoop, then you kind of get screwed from that aspect. But you're playing 3 of these, so it's like your chances of top decking into some way of souls is a lot higher. So that's why you play Where Art Thou. 2 tactics. I only put that in here because I copied some of the aspects of this from an opponent's deck that I went against, and he played 2 tactics. I didn't check that and take it out. You don't have to play 2. You can play 1 personally. But yeah, 2 is fine. Then you go Ghost Trick Shot, which is for your Ghost Trick engine, which this is either good for if Dolan is engraved. This allows you the ability to grab Dolan and special summon it to go back into Angel of Mischief. Or like how you saw when I got even lead, he even lead Angel of Mischief. I had a Ghost Trick Shot in hand, and I had already sent 1 to grave. Dolan picks the 1 up from grave, puts it in your hand. Now you can activate Trick Shot, put Dolan back on field, go into your 2nd Angel of Mischief, and then equip Angel of Mischief with your shot that you have in your hand that you had already, not the one you added from grave. Then if you also attack that turn, that just gives you a 3 material Zeus. So that's just a really good way of getting into Zeus if you really need to, especially if you attacked and you get even lead. Even lead doesn't stop that combo if you have a shot in grave or in your hand. So that's just, especially in grave. Grave is 1 in grave is normally where you want it though, for sure. But that's just a little Ghost Trick engine in here. Triple Tactics Thrust will get you access to Prologue if they activate a monster effect on your turn. I normally just never open Tactics. I either never open Tactics or Thrust when I need it, because like I'll open it, but then they don't activate shit on my turn, or I won't open it and then they'll activate shit on my turn, and I'm like, great, I can't fucking use this shit now. But the Souls engine can also just drop Tactics and Thrust if you don't need it, so Souls is good for getting rid of these dead cards in your hand. Temple of the Kings. Now the reason I even made this deck in the beginning was because, like I said, I saw a I think it was Sky Striker. No, not Sky Striker. It was a what is that deck? An Exosister. I saw an Exosister player using Temple of the Kings to put one of his cards that he had on field and use it that turn, and I was like, damn, that'd be good with Buster Blader, because if you open Memories and you can get a Dragon Engraved turn 1, that goes Buster Blader turn 1, and you don't even have to worry about Called By. So like, let's say just in an ideal situation, you start off with a Whelp in hand. Whelp doesn't get negated. You put Memories on field. You have Temple of Kings. Put on field. You put your Prologue face down. You go Whelp into Striker Dragon. Let's say they negate the Striker Dragon, but they didn't negate the Whelp because they weren't worried about it. You now have the ability to activate Prologue this turn, and Temple of Kings allows you to do that, which you normally have no way of doing. You could also if you wanted just to like have something one to discard off of Magician Souls, and also something that they could potentially negate off their Striker Dragon just to bait them, you could also add Boot Sector Launch. It doesn't do anything, but it's just one, a free discard, and two, it's a free discard off Souls, and two, it can be baiting your opponent. Like if they have something that isn't like an Imperm or a Veiler, if they have Ash specifically, it'll stop that, because they'll be like, oh, he might have a what's it called? What's that shit called? He might have a rocket in hand, and he's trying to grab Boot Sector to get it. He might be playing Rocket Buster Blader, so that's potentially something you can do in there. I'm not saying that you got it, but it's just an option. Just if you want to have something, one, that they might negate, or two, you might want to have something that can eat up a negate if they haven't used one. Because like how you saw with the branded guy who went into Mirror Jade, he Mirror Jaded my Striker Dragon, I'm assuming because he was worried about Boot Sector Launch, or at least was worried about the possibility of me grabbing a rocket from my hand. Yeah, rocket from my hand. I'm not tripping when I said that, unless I'm tripping. It's early in the morning when I'm recording this. Call by the Grave, obviously call by just to stop the normal hand traps. Cross out just to stop the normal hand traps. Memories and Prologue, like I said. Worst case, if you want to throw some other hand traps in here, I was trying to keep it light on the hand traps, because that was another thing I was seeing a lot with that other deck that I showed you. I was top decking a lot of hand traps, and it's like, hand traps are fine, but I'm trying to go first to set up my board, and hand traps screw your hand, because as you saw, drawing two Maxis can fuck you up, especially when you're going against a deck that does not special summon, being Flu. So I was just like, that sucked. But you could also throw in a Droll and a Veiler if you really wanted to. A Veiler could also be a good target for your for Arthal to get into your Magician Souls, and so can Droll. So if you want to throw those two in there, it's fine. It'll get you to 45 cards if you play exactly how I'm playing, and it also can help with wear Arthal. Just a potential other two cards you can run. I'm not running them though. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the extra deck. We're playing two Buster Bladers, two Buster Dragons, Excel Synchron, Baron. The Excel gets you into the Baron if you use your Assault Synchron. The Ghost Trick Dolan will get you into the Angel of Mischief by bringing it out, because Angel of Mischief, what it does is you can exceed summon this card by using a Ghost Trick XYZ material you control, except Angel of Mischief transfers material to this card. So if you don't know how exceeds work, basically if you can bring out two of your level ones to go into Dolan, Dolan will instantly get you access to Mischief. Mischief will either allow you to add a Ghost Trick spell / trap from deck to hand, which is gonna be your Ghost Trick shot, or you can you can add one from deck to hand, or you can add a material being one of your Ghost Trick cards. You can attach one Ghost Trick card from your hand to this card of material. And then obviously if you have Ghost Trick Angel of Mischief, you swing, let's just say you have your two materials, that's three materials for Zeus. If you somehow have three materials on it, that's gonna be, you can go into Zeus after the battle phase for material Zeus. That's two field wipes. Very good. Striker Dragon, like I said, this is mainly just to scare your opponent, because you could also just play Link Karibo, but Striker Dragon's a SR and not a UR, so for people who don't have Link Karibo, you can go Striker Dragon as an alternative. And like how you saw in some situations, you might actually scare your opponent into doing something and misplaying. We got Protective Whelp. Protective Whelp is good for its effect of if you have a Buster Blader in hand, you can special summon it, and you send a Destruction Sword card to grave. So if you are missing a key component for your Buster Blader combo, that's a good way of sending it. Sprite Elf, I didn't use in the replays, but Sprite Elf is good for, just say for example you want your Buster Blader to be untargetable and your Buster Dragon, this is a way of doing it. But normally you're not going to go into Sprite Elf too often, because normally Protective Whelp is better. The only time you'll ever go into Sprite Elf is if you have major card advantage, which you're not going to be generating too much of it with this deck, but it's possible. I could see some ways you can get into it. Muckraker though, Muckraker and Protective Whelp are normally the two links you're going to go for, especially because both allow you to send whatever you use as material to grave. And Muckraker specifically is really good for protecting your cards from battle damage, because if your card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can tribute one fiend monster you control, which includes Muckraker. You can target one fiend monster except Muckraker. Oh no, that's if you want to special summon a fiend. But basically, if a monster you control will be destroyed by card effect, you can tribute one fiend monster instead, which, like I said, if your opponent uses something like Raigeki, Muckraker stops it. If also your prologue that you use to summon out Buster Dragon is gonna destroy your Buster Dragon, prologue protects it and you permanently keep the Buster Dragon. So that's a permanent Buster Dragon that you have now. And then I couldn't think of another card to throw in here. You could throw in another Synchro, but I threw in Name or Unicorn just for those weird scenarios where you have 3 materials on field and then you have something in your hand that might not be useful, like how you saw that I used a Wherefore Art Thou to go into a Souls, but I don't, you know, I don't have like a way to bring out Soul because I might have used this effect already and already normal summoned. So it's like going into a Unicorn can potentially out something annoying on the board as long as you can target it. And then this is pretty much the whole deck. Like I said, there's definitely jank in here. There's definitely some like weird situations that if you can get access to, like a Temple of the Kings and a Buster Whelp with a prologue. I mean, that alone turn 1 brings out Buster Blader. And if you can get into some of your like Buster Dragon or Dragon Buster being engraved, that means next turn, boom, you just equip the Buster Lock on it, and then now you're golden. That's your whole Buster Blader combo right there. And you still have the ability to go into other stuff with your Bisteels, with your Assault Synchrons, with your Wannabes can help you get into your traps a little quicker, or at least can show you the top 5 of your deck potentially if you're going first or second and they don't put any traps down. So it's like your potential for what you can do with this is high. The consistency for me wasn't bad, because even like you saw in some of the replays where I didn't have a great starting hand, I was still able to go ahead and get into the cards I needed to and still come back and win that duel. Obviously you won't be able to do that every time, especially if your opponent starts off super strong, but your ability to break a board is not impossible. It just depends on the strength of the board. Because Mirror Jade with nothing else isn't that great. But Mirror Jade is also annoying as hell to out alone, so doing that's no easy feat. If I had to throw like one thing in here, maybe some evenlies for if you have to go second. But you also run that risk of drawing into your evenlies plus hand traps a lot more than your actual combo pieces. So that's an iffy one. I'm playing it at 43. I've been winning a lot with this deck, and that's where I'm going to leave it here. Let me know down in the comments below any additions or things that you would change about the deck. Anything that you might think is a cool little combo that you didn't know about. Like I said, the one for me was Wannabe putting memories on field, and then if your memories didn't get destroyed, Wannabe sends memories to grave on its own, so you don't have to use your Buster Blader that you might have in your hand on memories to send it to grave. That's a cool little combo I didn't know about, and when it came up, it actually was a very good strategy, and I did it more than once, so I thought it was cool. But let me know how you feel down in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time. Peace.
I wanna be good, but I'm stuck being bad. I wanna get money and chill by myself. I wanna spend money, my family need help. I need me a girl just to help with the stress. Somebody to care, this hair, this rare everywhere. My fault is heavy, this chain is heavy. I know they gon' hate me cause haters is plenty. I rode in an Altima, burned out a Chevy. Those times were heavy.